Every time someone tells you that you have hurt their feelings, it does not always necessarily mean that it warrants an apology. I'll give you an example. I told two family members of mine who had asked me to borrow some money and let them know that I did not want to give them the money, and I told them why. So I said, no, I don't want to give you the money. The reason is because you both have a history of either taking too long to pay someone back, or you have a history of not paying people back, and people can't reach you to get their money back. After I said that, both of them stonewalled me and stopped talking to me for a certain time period. And they felt justified because they said, you hurt my feelings. Although their feelings being hurt is valid in the sense that it's true that their feelings were probably hurt by what I said, it doesn't mean that they should expect an apology from me for telling them something that is the truth about themselves. Being that most of my friends have been women, one of the things that I've noticed from women is that women will weaponize the phrase, that hurt my feelings. Sometimes, or a lot of times, it's valid and it warrants an apology. And other times, and a lot of times, there's no reason for your feelings to get hurt necessarily. Now, if you want to feel those emotions, and if you genuinely are hurt, but if what the person said about you was the truth, and you know it to be the truth, then that is your opportunity to be introspective, reflect, and regulate your nervous system. Regulate being able to hear something that's uncomfortable, or regulate being able to hear what's hard to hear about the truth about yourself. When you weaponize the phrase that hurt my feelings in situations where that person said to you was okay to say, was warranted to say, was necessary to say for the context of that conversation, and instead of you not operating in your ego, you humble yourself and say, you're right. I do have a hard time with paying people back, and I understand why you wouldn't want to give me money because I haven't shown you that I'm trustworthy enough, and I haven't built a trustworthy rapport with you for you to feel comfortable to give me money. So I understand why you wouldn't want to give me money. Instead, when someone points out that flaw or issue, they'll project it back to that person and say, how dare you say the truth about me? How dare you expose me? They'll make that person who pointed out the flaw or pointed out something that is a character trait that they need to work on. They demonize the person for doing that instead of appreciating that person for doing that. Instead of saying, you know what, that person was doing the right thing by calling me out, essentially by saying, hey, look, I'm not great at paying folks back. Even if I am struggling and I genuinely just can't always pay folks back in a timely manner, but I'm taking advantage of that person's grace by not communicating in a timely fashion. Hey, you know what, this week I won't be able to pay you, but I'm working on it and I'll pay you in a month. But instead, I don't pick up my phone. But instead, I get mad at them when they're asking me back for the money that they lent me. I'm not saying that men don't do this, but I am saying that I have experienced a lot of times, mostly this type of experiences with women. Women will get mad at you for plainly stating something that is a fact about them, that is the truth about them, and they know it to be the truth. They're mad that you said it. Mad at the fact that you didn't enable them like their other friends. They're mad at you that you weren't their yes man. They're mad at you because you weren't their people pleaser. It's easier for them to pick you apart. And I'll give you an example. So instead of humbling themselves, taking ownership for how they are mistreating you, or how they have mistreated you in the past, or how they have taken advantage of your kindness in the past, it's easier for them to pick apart how you say it. They'll be like, well, I just didn't like how you said it. I didn't like your tone. And that's a form of deflecting. Another thing too, like a lot of times people will infantilize you because they are used to you, especially if you are someone that is younger than them. They're used to being the authority in your life. When you come into your own as an adult, they still see you like you're still a child. So when you talk with more confidence, when you talk with more assertion, talk direct to them because you have the right. You're a grown-ass person. Instead of them just taking ownership for what they have been doing, them not building a trustworthy rapport with you, they will pick you apart and say, well, you didn't have to say it like that, or your tone was off. And they'll tell their friends, they'll tell everybody around them. That is what narcissists do. I'm not calling these people narcissists, but that is like traits of narcissism. And so it's easier to demonize the person and then collectively try to make that person look bad so you don't deal with you. So you don't take ownership for how you've been mistreating them. It's easier to be like, you know what? It ain't even about that person's tone. I'm just being nitpicky. It ain't even about how they said it. I just didn't like what they said to me. I just didn't like the fact that they had the balls to tell me the truth about myself. I'm just mad that they're not enabling me. I expected for them to continue to enable me. And I'm mad at that. That's really the issue. The issue was never their tone. The issue was never how direct they said it. The issue was never, their facial expressions. The issue was never their body language. The issue was always, I just didn't like the fact that you said it to me. It was you. You said it to me. I didn't have enough respect for you as an adult to say that to me. And be careful with people who put you in a certain place in their life as the pushover friend, or the pushover person, or the Christian person, or all these labels that people will capitalize off of your grace, off of your kindness, all because they don't want to deal with themselves. They don't want to look in the mirror that you just put in their face. Don't let them project their own internal issues onto you, and that's wrong. That's wrong. That is a form of emotional manipulation. That is you operating in your ego. And you need to, and when you're hearing something that is the truth about yourself, but it's maybe uncomfortable to hear and it may be hard to hear, you need to learn how to regulate your emotions. It's not fair for you to project that onto someone else because they brought it up to you. How can you have vulnerable, intimate conversations or even healthy relationships with people if they can't tell you the truth about yourself? That's not a real healthy relationship if people have to walk on eggshells and they can't tell you the truth about who you are, if indeed that's who you are. If there's an explanation as to why you do what you do, that's an opportunity for you to be vulnerable in that moment. You know what? You're right. Like, the reason why I don't pick up my phone is because I'm embarrassed that I owe you. That's an opportunity for you to open up more and for you to express why you behave in these, not so great ways. It's harder to feel the truth about ourselves than it is to, you know what? I need to take that on the chin. This person isn't trying to hurt me. This is not a threat. I'm looking at this person like they're a threat, but they're not a threat. They didn't threaten my life. It's a non-threatening situation, and my nervous system is so dysregulated because I'm not used to having healthy, uncomfortable conversations. But yeah, women, stop doing that to your friends. Stop doing that to your man. Stop doing that to your husband, to your wife. Stop doing that to people. Go to therapy. Learn how to regulate your nervous system so that you are able to regulate yourself when you're hearing something that's hard to hear.